Justice Warriors. Oh my God, I'm so excited. I'm not even that late. So I think I got this thing now where I can make the announcement. I read your comments. Thank you so much for being here. Let's get started. How are you guys doing tonight? Let me just go ahead and read a few comments out loud. Annie Ruler, I think the way to announce is working. Woohoo! Finally. Can't believe how long it took me to figure it out, you guys. Okay. It gave me a bell to confirm I want notification. Awesome. Thank you, Annie Ruler, Susan Dodge, Aguilar. Good evening, Jazz. Just here lurking. It's always good to lurk, right? Caleb Lee, good evening, Lady Justice and Justice Warriors. Now this is more like it. Yes. And Monique Cole says, good evening, Jazz. Monique Cole says a bunch of stuff in some other language, I think. Or is that just typos? Squirrely Burger. Okay, I just took my glasses off so I can't read everything. Squirrely Burger says, evening, everyone, I think. And Pamela says, hello, everyone. You guys, oh, thank you so much. You guys are just the bomb. I'm just so smitten with my people. So let's start out the way we always do. Everything I say can and will be held against me, right? It is my Buddhist prayer for tonight. So yeah, everything I say is simply my opinion. I am here hoping to have a wonderful conversation with you guys, hoping to educate and be educated. What else? Just wanting to open up a really good conversation. So welcome. Hello, Sherry and Mark. You're messing with my evening plans. How dare you? But I gave you a heads up. I am so sorry. So yeah, today we had a snow day here in my neck of the woods. So, it just kind of threw a curveball and I thought I'll try an evening one. We'll get back on the regular schedule tomorrow, I promise. So what else? So I think I did most of the spiel. Everything I say is my opinion only, simply for the sake of conversation, hoping to be educational. And it's made specifically for YouTube, which is an entertainment platform. For some reason, I feel like it's really important to include that part about entertainment platform and YouTube. So I don't know. I'm still just learning how to do all this stuff. It's raining here at Connecticut. Well, you might be getting hit with some snow later, Monique, like tomorrow. I don't know. So yeah, everybody, if you don't mind and you feel so inclined, please hit that thumbs up, the like button, share, subscribe. I did a 1 hour, 11 minute and 12-second live this morning. And I kid you not, you guys, I was so jazzed up. I did all of that without even a pen in my hand. I had my notebook next to me, but it wasn't open. I never looked at it. I had no notes. I was just winging it. And I didn't even realize it until I did my review. And then I was like, wow, I did not do so bad. I mean, there were a couple of things that, like I couldn't remember the name of the guy, KB, that is the SWAT team casualty from December 14th, 15th, a couple of times, but then I got it when we were talking about it. And then there was that case that I mentioned, and I haven't had a chance to look it up. I meant to. The case where the current coroner medical examiner had been the guy's defense attorney, the guy who killed somebody that she did the medical examination on. And I was going to look all that up with the names because he was the guy who got arrested like a week after this terrible tragedy. And it had been 15 years and he was sentenced to 15 years, but then he got released after like 2 years. But when he killed that person, I think it was actually a shooting. And I said stabbing, but I think he shot that guy 15 years ago. He only did 2 years, I think, if I'm remembering accurately. I was going to look it up and get his name and everything because it's always good to be specific, but it's not real relevant to what we're working on here right now. What is relevant is what other people brought up towards the end of the earlier live, that we have the defense attorney for the criminal defendant in the Idaho 4, who was also the defense attorney for Xana's mother up until she withdrew from that on January 5th, when she then got this case. But then she was also, Kelly from What's the Obsession came in and dropped this one. She was also Madison's stepmother's defense attorney. So Madison and Xana May, Madison's stepmom and Xana May's mom, had both been arrested for drug charges, I believe. And it sounds like this woman was the court-appointed defense attorney for both of them. She shouldn't be on this case, you guys. This is so crazy. This is exactly where my head went when I was reviewing the tape. I thought, they're going, if they convict him, they can throw it out. And then there's that double jeopardy. He can't be retried. I mean, I'm just speechless. I'm breathless. Okay, let me read some of your stuff. Get those thumbs up. Hello, Esther. Good evening. Hey, mods in chat. Caleb Lee, Monique Cole. You have this. Have faith in what you do. You are great. Oh, you're so sweet. I just really enjoy talking about these cases with you guys. It's very therapeutic. And the case with the Idaho 4 is so freaking awful. Gabby Petito's case is so freaking awful. Kylie Rodney's case. Here we have the Petito family just stepping up and doing so much good for themselves, for their daughter, for everyone. So we can talk about that too. Because there's such a problem systemically with sexism, systemically with lack of accountability. Law enforcement needs to be held accountable for their shortcomings. We all make mistakes. It's okay for people to make mistakes, but they need to be held accountable and they need to own up to it. That's what's important, in my humble opinion. Okay. Yes, she's got to be removed from counsel before it's too late. I mean, this is crazy. If it were to go to trial and he were to get convicted, they could throw it out and he could have a right to not be retried. You cannot be tried twice for the same homicide. It's one of the things in our Constitution. So it seems to me like a train wreck waiting to happen, or maybe it's already a train wreck. Makeup date with Jack. Hello, Pamela. Just like Mark Means in the Lori and Chad case, they will get her out of there. Oh, see, and I haven't been following that one. I share with my subscribers and my viewers that I have a lot of trouble following the cases that involve small children. Like Kylie Rodney is a child, but she wasn't a small child. It's really hard for me, like the Watts case. I followed that, but it took me a long time to be able to do that. And that's because of my own baggage, my own history. And Jazz says, not Xana May. Did I say Xana May? Oh my God. See, that's the thing. Thank you, Caleb Lee. Oh my goodness. Thank you for catching me. Did I really say Xana May? Like, I would watch that later and be like, what the? So that's great that you caught me. People, keep me in line, right? Okay, she is going to get a man lawyer. That's what I feel. Maybe is that their plan? Annie Ruler says, exonerate, strange word. Good question. Good question. Heavenly Cloud says, I love you talking about these cases also because not everyone wants to hear about true crime. Glad I have a place to come. I know. I love true crime. I really do. It is therapeutic for me. I've shared with you guys some of my own trauma, and I'll reiterate just because I know people get curious. But there was an attempt made on my life when I was a young child. I was 11. So it was a very serious attempt. It took me 10 years to realize that it wasn't an accident because I believed the gaslighting that it was an accident. Luckily, it was a failed accident or failed attempt. It didn't make sense at the time, but I was too young to know that it didn't make sense. So as I got older, I was able to put it together that it was not an accident. And that was really hard. So to realize that somebody tried to take my life when I was 11 is insane, right? So that's why I have a particular issue with young kids. Plus, it's just young kids. Like, they're so vulnerable. Like, what kind of scumbag is going to victimize somebody small and naive? These people are sick, absolutely sick. So I've had a lifetime of therapy and I've been a therapist, and it's really helpful for me to talk about true crime, to figure out what makes people tick. And these people are freaking idiots, right? The new norm, according to the devil and phantasmic ether. Hello, warrior fam. Technically, Kylie Rodney's mom can sue the Smiths, aka Sammy, per law. Larissa Slaughter. Technically, I don't think that she's got any desire to straighten things out, because she'd probably be implicated if she tried to straighten things out. Again, looking at the Petito family, they're such a great role model of this is how real parents respond when their kid is killed. Okay. That's how real parents respond. Not like, oh, let's have a party and flip everybody off and screw you guys, get a hobby. We got bills to pay. No, that's a bunch of malarkey. Okay. So yeah, technically Kylie Rodney's mom could probably sue Sammy Smith, but I don't think she ever would, because I don't think she wants justice, because if there was justice, she would probably be in deep shit. So just saying, my opinion. Okay. I am the same way. I do not follow small kid cases. Yeah, it's just too much. It's too much. It's shitty enough to follow any of these cases, but like you guys have said, you love true crime. I love true crime. We all have our reasons. It's awesome that we can get together and have these chats. So thanks again. Criminal defendant did not even look at the woman attorney last appearance. He may be happy to have an understanding man attorney. Well, and she is probably just trying to get a book deal. She really should not have been assigned to his case. She really should have recused herself, and she still can, right? I mean, that would be the right thing to do. Why are my shadows being so weird, you guys? It's just like earlier, I'm wearing the same shirt. It looks like it's all lopsided just because of the weird lighting. So my apologies. Thought I had it all squared away. It's ridiculous. But I did do another hat. Look, I sewed an elephant onto my hat. You guys like it? Is that so cute? Because, yeah, you just have to have hats for this line of work. I told you, this computer screen does the weirdest things to your hair. It's hilarious. Like, if you notice, almost every content creator is wearing a hat. So it's just a really good thing. So I've been decorating them up with cool stuff, trying not to overdo it, but just, a little bit of fun. Okay. Anyway, we're not here to talk about the hats, are we? We're here to talk about true crime. Love the Petitos, Heavenly Cloud says. Kylie's mom is involved in the cover up, so she wouldn't. That seems pretty obvious to me, in my opinion. Esther says, likewise, I can't stand and don't tune into the child trauma cases either. No children here. I love kiddos, but I just can't comprehend that level of evil. Watts the Obsession does such a good job dealing with the Watts case, and she's been doing that for a couple of years. And she just was her latest video just today. It was like a 15 or 20 minute video about the little babies. It just broke my heart. But she does it so well. Kelly is so skilled and so talented. So again, I highly recommend. And it's so nice when she does these shorter videos, because she does amazing lives, but they are so long. And all these channels that do amazing lives that are so long, which is why I try to keep mine even under an hour, even like half an hour. But it is really hard to do a live to interact with everybody with just a half an hour. Okay, so let's get caught up on this. Phantasmic Ether says, Jazz, what's your favorite animal? And Esther says, you still look amazing. The cap with the elephant is nice. Annie Ruler says, we don't see your shadows. You ought to see your viewers, or at least me. Oh, that's cute. That's funny. I know. And see, this is why, if you notice, a lot of people, when they do their lives, they just have their little icon. So they don't care what they look like. They don't care what the lighting is like. And they can just focus on the content. So I see the beauty of doing that. But I'm very creative, as you can tell. I have fun with all these lights and flowers and everything, and sewing. Like that hat that I had on earlier today that said sociopath. When I saw that patch was $9, $9 for a freaking patch. But as soon as I saw it, I was like, I have to have that. And that was what I thought. I thought for a hat for this, for doing my lives, I just thought that'd be really cute. So yeah, elephants are definitely one of my favorite animals. I'm a goofball. I really like rodents too. I like chipmunks. And let's see what else. I have to say, I really like mice. I know a lot of people don't like mice. I like mice. I even like rats. I don't like their rat tails, but I love how smart they are. And they're just hilarious. They crack me up. I don't like sewer rats. I don't like wharf rats. That's getting gross. Like, you guys know, down in the Florida Keys, they have these freaking rats that are literally the size of cats, just like that David Bowie song. Like, is it Laredo, or what is the name of the one island that they all came from? Some other country, like from New Guinea or something, on a shipping container, and they can't get rid of them, and they've had them for years. I just can't. Ugh. Okay. Um, you are cute. You are a woman of many hats. You're so sweet. I love you guys. Can't the prosecutor demand the court make Brian get different lawyer? You would hope. I mean, maybe the people can demand it. I mean, it's gotta be nipped in the bud. Like, that would be the biggest disgrace if he was convicted and then it was tossed out and then he was unable to be retried. That would be so disgusting. We cannot take that chance. Esther says, yes, I agree. Kelly is amazing. Her channel is how I found the Watts case. I don't even really remember exactly how I found the Watts case, but I also really like Armchair Detective. And yeah, Kelly is just phenomenal. I know there's a lot of other channels that have covered the Watts case. I mean, like Zav Girl got her start with the Watts case. I'm not sure about Paula Plunder. I think she started around the same time, but a lot of the great channels started with the Watts case. So it's interesting to go back when you look at each person's information on their channel to see where they started. I'm trying to think who else started with the Watts case that I can think of off the top of my head. Anyway, as you guys know, I started with the Kylie Rodney case. I almost started a few years ago with the Suzanne Morphew case. And then I got really close to motivated to do it with the Gabby Petito case. And then I got really close to doing it with the Kylie Rodney case. And then it was after she was found. And I thought, okay, game over. I missed my opportunity with this one. And then it was like, I don't know, a couple of weeks later or a week later was when I started my channel, because it was still, there was so much to talk about. I was like, wait, it should be water under the bridge by now, right? And I'm so glad I finally started it, especially because her case is so messed up. And I feel like I've been able to provide some insight onto that case that I haven't seen other people provide, like just the whole thing with the freaking cannibalism up there where they live. That is one huge, insane piece of information that I would have not known had I not been there so many times. Not just that it happened, but the attitude that people there have of how it's kind of like a lighthearted, cool thing. No, it ain't. No, it ain't. And then to live right there, like nobody wants to go anywhere near it. And then anyway, so there was that whole element of it, but there were a lot of other elements too that I felt like I was able to inject some of this information. And then it was nice to see it kind of sprout and seed and other people talking about that too. Because when I first brought that up, I didn't think it had much to do with anything. Just like a few days ago when I brought up that Wazoo is called Wazoo, and I thought that doesn't really have anything to do with anything. And then this whole disaster mess of the Wazoo Police Department comes out, and I trip over some of this stuff. So I wanted to read you guys an article this morning that I got so caught up just chatting that I forgot to read it. Isn't that hilarious? Okay. And yeah, elephants are magnificent creatures, aren't they? They're phenomenal. I love your setting behind you, really nice and relaxing. And I love fairy gardens, and I love enchanted forests. I love tea gardens, like Japanese tea gardens are my favorite. Like I just can live in gardens like that. And so, yeah, I have a lot of fun with all the lights and the flowers and the fabrics because, I'm way into sewing. That's why I'm a sociopath, SEW. So thanks. I'm glad you like it. And Esther says, squirrels. I do love squirrels, but chipmunks are even cuter because they're smaller and they're coloring with those little stripes. They're little racing stripes. I would scream to see a rat the size of a cat. I know, it's disgusting. I mean, even just larger rats are not cute. I only like rats that are like the size of mice, right? But I like them in cartoons and I like them in stuffed animals. I just think they're awesome. Pixie knickers. You guys know that song, don't you? That David Bowie, fleas the size of rats on rats the size of cats and 10,000 peopleoids. Which song is that? It's on the Changes album, isn't it? You guys know. I know you know. Good old David Bowie. If you just Google that, it'll pop right up. And I'm not going to take the time to Google. I want to get through your comments and then read the article and then keep going with you guys. I actually thought they started with the Gabby case. Who they? Van Life Adventure. Because the ones that I mentioned were all around before Gabby. Because I started getting into true crime with Suzanne Morphew. That's where I found Paula Plunder. She was the first channel that I got really into. And yeah, she's awesome. And they boomed or in Kylie case. And now there's a bunch of new channels, I think, starting with this, right? There's a bunch of channels that have started with the Idaho 4. MF puppies. Can we touch on the big elephant in the room? I'm speaking on corruption in our government officials. I love the way you said that. Oh my goodness. It's terrible, isn't it? I mean, I've been talking a lot about corruption in the police departments, but that wouldn't be able to happen if it wasn't for government officials being corrupt too. This isn't a bad apple situation. The problem runs deep throughout every town, USA. I totally see where you're coming from, and in some sense, I agree. I'd like to be more optimistic and say maybe not every town, but almost every town. It's crazy, isn't it? So you guys know that the Godfather movies were made, Marlon Brando starred in them. And he literally had been so successful in his career, and he bought a bunch of Polynesian islands and he hung out on his islands, and he had like a full staff and crew and friends and buildings, and you couldn't get him off his freaking islands. Literally, you could not get the man off his island. He wanted nothing to do with Hollywood, right? But somebody sent him the Godfather script, and he read it and he said, you know what, I have to do this. And it's not because I want to do a movie. It's because people in America need to understand that this is exactly how our government is run. So I know Brando's very controversial, and he was not a stand-up guy in some ways, but in some ways he was quite the stand-up guy. And I think that that's one of them. So I think it's really cool that he did that, because he knew that he was so popular that people would watch the movies if he was in them. And that was his whole point. That was his message, is he wanted people to know that this is how our United States is run, like the freaking mafia. And you can see it in Chicago, the history of Chicago, the history of New York. We're seeing it currently in Northern California, that whole area with Reno and the Sierra Nevadas has been problematic for as long as history's been recording this type of stuff in our country, because of the water, because of the wealth from that, because of the greed, because of the corruption. It's just a freaking mess. And so that's a good snapshot of what you're talking about. So, okay, let me get caught up here. Let's not forget about Kylie Rodney. Exactly, Monique. That's what I'm talking about. I'm glad you did too, because that's where I found you. Oh, that's so cute. Thank you with Kylie. I just feel like she's our girl, isn't she? We're not letting her go. We will find justice for Kylie. We will. Do you remember Chippendale, the little like rodents, the little chipmunks? My cat is on my light. That's so funny. Okay, meow, I hear ya. Okay. And then there's Chippendales. That's not what you're talking about. You're talking about a little cartoon, right? You're not talking about the male strippers. Although I have to interject here that thinking about the whole thing with the cop at Wazoo Police Department and his sexcapades all over town on company time, I can't believe that I hadn't thought earlier about like the whole Chippendales thing. Like, here he is in his cop costume and hitting on all the chicks across the campus and hooking up with them. And why not just do a striptease with, yeah, really bad, right? Really bad. And again, I do not want to be condescending towards law enforcement or first responders of any kind, but especially law enforcement. I mean, they're the ones that are out there dealing with so much, and they got to go like that. Like, they got to be able to deal with barking dogs and complaining neighbors, and then they got to be able to deal with something like what happened at the Moscow 4, the Idaho 4. They're trained to do that. So it doesn't matter if they're a small town and they haven't done it before. They have to know how to do their job, and they have to be ready all the time. And that's stressful, but some people like to do that. There's a lot of people that really enjoy, and that's what they live for. They live for taking control in a horrible situation and getting the bad guys and holding them accountable. And the police have a lot of leverage, and that can turn into a problem when you have dishonest cops, right? So, future legend song. Thank you, Rana Jane. Do you know that Brando was a Native American Indian? I know he was very into Native American everything. I don't know how much Native American he had in him. I have a lot in me too, and I don't like to talk about it much because I'm so white looking and I've had all the white privilege that a white person can have. So it's kind of a sensitive issue for a lot of people because it's like a lot of us have Native American in us, right? And how much is you can find out with 23andMe or with your own family records. But yeah, it can be a touchy. That Brando had a whole Native American philosophy, like when he didn't even show up when he won an Oscar. He had a Native American accept the Oscar for him, but then he gave a lot of his land away, which upset a lot of his family. But he had that idea, like Native American idea, that we don't own land, so he gave it away. And then his greedy family was like, "You can't do that. Give us your money." So, good morning. It is AM here, and congratulations, 3,000 subscribers. Oh, cool. We got back up because, honestly, because it was getting close to 3,000, and that was exciting when it surpassed it. And it got up to like 311, and I think, and then it was dropping, and that's fine. I don't know if that was from people getting disappointed or because when you share something, people were losing their subscription to a channel if they'd share something from that channel. So I don't know, But even if it was people being disappointed in me, I'm fine with that. I feel like I'm kind of getting my groove and I'm nowhere near perfect and I'm figuring it out. And, we're all human. And I hope that people like what I'm presenting. And if they don't, there's so many other channels, right? Anyway, I always like to try to get down to business because that is why we are here. So thanks, Esther, for the congratulations on 3,000. Did I get back up there? It was so funny that it got to 2,999. That just cracked me up. Yes, chipmunks. Okay, I've watched documentary on Ruby Ridge. Very sad. They shot a mother holding her infant daughter. Shows you the power of misinformation. It's craziness. Baby, I'm late. Sorry, what I miss? We're just getting started. We're just warming up. The feds started the standoff snooping and shot a 14-year-old boy and his dog. And Monique Cole says, me too. Heavenly Clouds, it won't come up until we hold them accountable. Monique's Canadian. So that's nice. You don't have to deal with this stuff. Heavenly Clouds, I know Canada's got its own stuff too. Says, I think the prosecuting attorney for BK should tell the judge defending attorney should not defend BK. Absolutely. Absolutely. It's gotta get switched up. That just can't. I can't imagine how the families feel about this. Not just Xana's family. I said it right. Not Xana May. Not just Xana's family and not just Madison's father and stepmother and her mother, wherever her mother is. I know I've seen pictures of her and her mom. They're like twins. So not just their families, but how does that make the other families feel too? Like that's got to be so creepy and unsettling. And I would think that would make them feel very insecure that she's got all this information from those angles and now this. By the way, you need to check your email. I sent you a present. Oh, Sifa. I'm excited to check that out. Okay, when I see you now, I see you out of focus. My camera's been doing all kinds of weird stuff and jumping, and yeah, I just gotta see what I can do about that. I apologize. And turn off notifications, especially when you talk about what they deem controversial issues, possibly. And, I'm not going to stop talking about them. So if that's the way it goes, then that's the way it goes. That's why I say I don't really care about being shadow banned, because if talking about the truth is going to get me shadow banned, then I'm going to be shadow banned because that's my goal. And Caleb Lee, thank you. Thank you so much. That's so cute with all the little packages and party stuff. Any chance you left the thin film on your new computer camera lens? I don't think so. I can double check, but no, I think it was fine. It might be these great lights that I just got. I could even try unplugging them. Let me see if I can do that without falling over. Now it's going to be all weird. Now I have to really make some adjustments, but that might be better because I was kind of wondering about that from earlier. Lighting is so funky. Is that all right? Is that good? Okay. I don't want to mess with it too much. So tell me if that clears up what you were thinking, that maybe there was a thin film on the computer, because I don't think that it's been a problem before, but I was thinking it was kind of a problem when I was watching the video from this morning. I meant French Canadian ancestry. Gotcha. Have you seen that Enan Harsh saw the BK car several times in the neighborhood parked up? I saw the harsh reality about Enan today. I didn't catch that part of it, if he spoke to that or if that's other channels that have covered that. I have not. No, that's news to me. But again, can we trust him? Because he changed his story, remember? Betty Smith says she should recuse herself, too pre-involved with the families. Did you ever see the documentary on Leopold and Loeb? No, I don't know what that is. Bo Peep. I have no idea. I was going to highlight it in case you wanted to follow up on that. I don't know what I love your background. They're the best. Well, and I like those grape things. They actually look really cool without the lights on. They're a little bit too much with the computer screen. I think that they glow too much. So yeah, I had used them in the last couple of days, but without plugging them in because too much light. Probably your internet connection, and that it could be. There's been some issues there. And Annie Ruler says, wonder about the car with the pics on the balcony several times taking pictures. And I know what you're talking about, Annie Ruler. I've noticed that too. The white car in the background when they're out on the balcony taking pictures. Heavenly Cloud says, no, it's okay. You are still pixelated. It got worse. Grr. That's really annoying. I don't know what to do other than just keep going, finish this one up, and then try to get it figured out by tomorrow morning. Because, yeah, I was noticing that, like I said, when I was reviewing the tape from earlier. When you move, the camera will automatically focus on what's moving closer. Van Life Adventures says if they do take her off the case, now she'll be a witness to the case 100%. I believe this was a plan anyway. I'm quite certain she had IS step in order to make sure Brian gets a fair trial. Oh, you think she had the harsh guy step in? I'm a little confused. And Van Life Adventures, are you the one who did the cool 3D but you changed your name? It was Milo and Lily? That's the same, right? It was Milo and Lily's Adventures, and now it's Van Life Adventures. Do you mind confirming or denying so I know if that's the same or not? Lisa, you now kind of look like No Face Guy in picture. Hard to see so good. I know that's the problem with the freaking lights. They just flood you out. So I don't know. I apologize, you guys. Like I said, I'll just do the icon like so many channels, and you just don't have to wrestle with it all. Harsh linked the content maker in his vlog. Okay. I've been making art for all the creators I like. You should open it right before you end your stream. I'm really hoping you like it. Okay, I will try to remember to do that before I wrap it up. And yeah, we're just at 37 minutes. I really want to read you guys this article that I had earlier, but I'm trying to keep up with all your awesome comments here. X had white car. What kind of car was it? I know up with that. Why have they never followed up on anything with that white? It looks like a Hyundai Elantra parked in front of his house all the time. How your sat now makes it better. I think it goes to your hand when you move it. Ew, good to know. I will try not to do that. Grr, you're normal now. Okay, I can't move. Okay. If you want to, let's see. And see, and then I put my hand up to do this. If you want to take the glare out of your glasses, position your light lamp on higher facing down. Well, thank you. That's a hot tip. I'm not going to mess with it right now because that just leads to one thing after another, but I will totally try that for tomorrow. You look great and are not pixelated on my screen. I'm glad to know that I'm not pixelated on your screen. It's so annoying to me when people are pixelated, but then there's a really good advertisement for Allstate Insurance, with that actor who does Mayhem, and he's like being the pixelated, like spotty internet connection. Do you guys know what I'm talking about? That guy is the best actor and he does the best commercials. So now with pixelations, I just kind of take it in stride. It's like no big deal. It's like it just happens all the time. What's really annoying to me is when it happens with the sound. So then things don't sound right and it sounds like you're saying your words wrong and your sentences wrong and stuff. And that's really annoying. Did you all have video where your van was attacked during the middle of the night? Oh, yes, it's me. Thank you, Van Life Adventures. It's so cool that you're here. I love that. I was so impressed with that video you did. Oh, that 2-minute video that Crime Circus put out there. Yeah, excellent work. And so yeah, you have video where your van was attacked during the middle of the night. Ugh, that sucks. I changed the name because I don't always have Milo with me. Aw, I hope they're okay. Milo and Lily. It's 2 of them, right? Oh, so you have Lily with you all the time, but not Milo. Is that right? Anyway, I'm a big animal lover. Animals are the best. Okay, I have a great grandma Princess Wanati of a Powhatan tribe. Just saying. Awesome. I prefer when people cam up. It's so much better than listening to a talking icon. I'm with you, Maria. That's why I do it, because I really enjoy watching other people too, um, that don't mind, putting on a hat and a sweatshirt and getting down and dirty with the camera, wrestling with the lights. The lights is the hardest part. But yeah, the hats are great. The hoodies are great. Oh, you do what you got to do. Your background is perfect. It's beautiful. And as you do, so that's not pick apart. Thanks. Do you know what Steve G has a brother that was charged in the murder of a neighbor friend in Washington State in February 2021? That's fascinating. No, I did not know that, MF puppies. So yeah, interesting. Okay, so the article that I wanted to read to you guys, and I also wanted to follow up with some stuff about the Gainesville killer in Florida, that it looks like this criminal defendant really modeled himself after the Gainesville, um, that horrible situation. And I have a nephew who went to school in Gainesville. My sister lives down around that area, and it's just hideous, isn't it? So let's see. This is the article, you guys. It's another one about, it's from Big News Country. I'm just going to go ahead and read it, and I'm going to miss a bunch of your comments. If you want to slow down on them, that's fine. So this is also from the same day, August 9th of 2022. And this is a different newspaper. It's called Big Country News, and it's, the name of the article is Several WSU command staff retire following initiation of disciplinary action. I like this a lot better because they're saying initiation of disciplinary action, whereas that first article I read you guys said something like allegations, right? No, it was way past allegations. Okay. It was they already started initiating disciplinary action, and so these weasels got up and got out of there. So Pullman, top-ranking members of the Wazoo Pullman Police Department command staff are retiring following initiation of disciplinary action for failing to advise university leadership of a 2020 departmental investigation involving an officer alleged to have engaged in sexual activities while on duty. I don't think this is going to be boring, you guys. As I start reading, I'm like, oh no. I think you guys are going to like it. It's pretty in-depth and fascinating. Police Chief Bill Gardner, Assistant Chief Steve Hansen, and Captain Mike Larson formally advised the university of their intent to retire in lieu of possible termination after being served notice in late July of pending disciplinary action. Pending disciplinary action is way past an allegation. The university is reporting these matters to the state agency that certifies law enforcement officers in Washington. Disciplinary proceedings are pending against WSU Police Sergeant Matt Kurt, the officer alleged to have engaged in an inappropriate activity while on duty and on Pullman campus property. The university has yet to make any determination of responsibility in the officer's case. Kurt has been on home assignment since March 2022. So it took 2 years to get him onto home assignment. And then I think he quit in November, or resigned. He resigned in November. He should have been fired, obviously, but he got a whole bunch of other people resigned before he resigned. He was the fourth head to roll, basically. So March 2022, when the earlier allegations were first brought to the attention of university leaders by concerned WSU Police Department employees in joint investigations by the Office of Compliance and Civil Rights, CCR, and Human Resources Services, HRS, were launched. These are positions of great public trust, and WSU will not tolerate this kind of behavior nor the negligence of departmental command staff, said WSU President Kurt Schultz. When university leadership recently became aware of these allegations and the questionable way they had been handled earlier within the department, we immediately initiated a full investigation. Gary Jenkins, retired police chief of City of Pullman's police department, has agreed to serve as interim chief of the WSU Police Department. WSU Police Sergeant Don Daniels, who served temporarily as acting chief, will be promoted to assistant chief. Victoria Murray, executive director for finance and administration, is serving as acting associate vice president for public safety. So I know there's a checkered past within that police department with Dawn Daniels. She was a graduate of that university, I think in 1997. I don't know when her employment started with the Wazoo Police Department, but I know that she was under investigation for, shall we just say, misappropriation of funds and stuff like that. Pullman, the top-ranking members of the WSU Police Department command staff. Okay, wait, that's the same page I just read. We expect the highest degree of integrity and character within our police force, and Wazoo is thankful for the commitment these individuals have shown in stepping up to help, said Vice President of Finance and Administration Stacy Peterson, who also oversees public safety. The entire Wazoo community is fortunate to have leaders with this kind of experience and willingness to serve. Back in December 2020, a Wazoo police officer notified Wazoo Police Department command staff of third-hand allegations against Kurt. The officer had received information from a third party who had initially advised of possible non-consensual. I'm like, my eyes are bugging out. Did it really just say non-consensual? It says non-consensual, you guys. I missed that. How did I miss that? I've read this article. Oh my goodness. Possible non-consensual sexual activity. But who contacted the officer again the next day to clarify that it had been consensual. Okay. Though it occurred while Kurt was on duty. Allegedly consensual. Again, I don't see it as being consensual when a man has a gun and a badge and a license to kill and can arrest you if you say no. I mean, to me, it's really, really weird. Let's just leave it right there. Despite the nature and seriousness of the claims, which included reports of sexual activities in the presidential suite at Martin Stadium and at Wazoo Observatory, the command staff failed to advise CCR as required by Wazoo policy. Instead, the Wazoo Police Command staff conducted a departmental investigation and was ultimately unable to locate a witness willing to file a complaint against the officer. Unable to locate a witness. And so it had been said in one of those articles that I read to you guys yesterday that he offered to tell the command staff the name of the person, and they said, no, thank you. And then they went on to say in their report that they didn't know who the other party was, so they could not confirm nor deny, right? The investigation concluded that there was not enough evidence to take substantial personnel action. The officer did, however, face departmental action for misconduct while on duty. Well, I think from the other article, the departmental action was just that he couldn't get overtime for the summer, for one summer. It wasn't until March of this year that university leaders learned about December 2020 allegations and internal police department investigations when a Wazoo police officer brought the matter to their attention. That's when the joint investigations by CCR and HRS were launched. As part of that process, the officer placed Kurt on home assignment. On July 15th, based on the results of the joint investigations, the duties of the chief, assistant chief, and captain were reassigned to others, and the 3 members of the department command staff were placed on home assignment. Shortly thereafter, the university advised the command staff that disciplinary proceedings were being initiated against them based on the investigation's findings that they had exhibited gross misconduct, incompetence, and neglect of duty. It's called dereliction of duty, which sounds even worse, right? The neglect, like dereliction of duty is what it is. That's one and the same. Neglect of duty, dereliction of duty. Dereliction of duty just sounds a lot more atrocious, which it is. Neglect is atrocious. It's absolutely atrocious. Like child neglect is usually what kills children in child abuse situations. It's not so much beating or hurting physically. It's the neglect. So neglecting to do your duty is severe. It's derelict. Misconduct, incompetence, and neglect of duty in their response to the claims of sexual misconduct involving the officer. All 3 members of the command staff announced their retirement before the formal disciplinary process concluded and are helping to ensure an orderly leadership transition. The findings of the joint investigations will remain in their Wazoo records and be available to future employers should they seek employment elsewhere. Disciplinary proceedings against Kurt are continuing and will include a formal hearing conducted in conformity with Title IX, which is the federal regulation prohibiting discrimination and harassment on the basis of sex in educational programs and settings. The university has made no final determination related to the officer, who is presumed not responsible until that hearing process is completed. Jenkins began serving as interim chief of the university's police department this week. He spent much of his law enforcement career in Southern California, including leadership roles in patrol and investigative divisions, as well as department operations, before relocating to Pullman in 2010 to serve as the city's police chief. So he'd been the Pullman police chief for 12 years. So yeah, I had thought that he'd been there longer. I think he has like 47 years of law enforcement experience, but he'd only been with Pullman for 12 years. And so he was the chief the whole time he was there. And I know that the police chief for Moscow has been there for at least 11 years because he was the police chief when that student was murdered by the professor, then unalived himself. That was James Fry was the police chief when that happened in 2011. So the reason I'm bringing that up is because we know that these dudes knew each other well, being that they were both police chiefs for over 10 years at basically opposite ends of the same town. Even though it's kind of 2 different towns, it's kind of the same town, right? We've gone over that. So one end is Pullman, one end is Moscow. It's 7 miles in between. And there's, just a lot of crossover. Like all of the 911 calls go through Pullman, all of Moscow's 911 calls. And it sounds like there's a lot of reasons that you would have to go to Moscow if you live in Pullman, just for groceries and regular stuff like that. I mean, not that they don't have grocery stores in Pullman, but you know what I mean. That there's just more shopping. I mean, even the criminal defendant said that when he was asked why he went to Moscow the 12 times, that he was being surveilled, or that they discovered that he had been there late at night on Saturday night, Sunday mornings for 12 weeks in a row. And he said the shopping is better, which I thought was pretty chilling. Like, because everyone knows the shopping is better in Moscow, but what's he shopping for? I mean, is he shopping for victims? Daniels, who temporarily served as acting chief of the university's police department, is serving as assistant chief. She's a 1997 Wazoo graduate who held various roles of increasing responsibility within the university police department since 2004. Okay, so she got hired there 7 years after she graduated. I think that's the whole thing. Yeah, that's the whole thing, you guys. So what did I miss? What did I miss with all your comments? When I say subs, I think of sandwiches. So should I open up Sifa's thing? Let me see. I don't want to mess up my stream. I'm going to go ahead and open up Sifa's thing since I told him that I would. And just in case it does something to the live stream, I'll just see you guys in the morning, okay? But hopefully it won't mess up the live stream. Otherwise, I wouldn't risk it if I really thought it was going to. So I'm going to do it right now. Here we go. And there it is. I see it. A present to justice. Oh my goodness. That is so freaking cool, dude. I wish I could show it to everybody. Wow. Am I that pretty? No, I'm just kidding. You guys, he did. You know what I'm going to do? I'm going to take a picture of it and see if I can show it to you. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That is amazing. You are a really talented artist. Whoa. That is so flippin' cool. I might just have to use that for my profile pic. But I really like my Weezer profile pic. The little icon that I have is the band Weezer playing in the grotto at the Playboy Mansion, playing their song Beverly Hills. I love Weezer. Okay. And I just think that that's a cool photograph. But I might just have to use this. I'm trying to show it to you guys. Let's see. Come on. Where'd it go? Oh, there it is. Are you ready? I think I can show it to you guys like this. Do you see that amazing artwork that Sifa did? Sorry for the glare. Trying to get it where there's less glare. Look, it's totally washed out. How do I do it? Oh, kind of. You can kind of see it, right? Keep moving it around. There we go. That's better. There we go. Is that amazing? I can't believe how much that looks like me. But that's much better looking than me. Sifa, you're so sweet. Oh my goodness. And I'm curious if that was computer art or a painting, pastels. That is crazy amazing. Whatever it is freaking amazing. I'm thinking you had to have done a still shot and then like done the artwork over it, but I don't know. I mean, it's so unique. Oh, wow. I like those glasses too. Thank you. That is the sweetest thing. Oh my goodness. I'm so touched. All right. So let's see. That's a real copy of Yuzo. Oh, it is. Wow. So he took like a screenshot and then did the art on it kind of thing. Looks great. Beautiful, Sifa. You did great. You're so talented. Gorgeous. Beverly Hills. That's where I want to be. It's the funniest song. Funny. That band they just crack me up. I just love how low key they are, and I love how they dress like all nerdy with like the crazy striped shirt with the flannel over it. You know, the plaid and stripes that totally clash, and they do the whole Buddy Holly thing. Although, yeah, they, one of their songs is about Dungeons and Dragons. I got my 12-sided Dice. They are just the original dorks, right? They're the guys who made being a dork cool. Being a nerd. They're the guys who made nerdiness cool. All right, you guys, I've watched enough of your videos. I know what you look like. Oh, you're so funny. And look at Kaz, thanks, with the 3,000 subs. That's so cute. You know, I really never even thought I might not get to 100 subs when I thought about doing this. I just thought, who knows what will happen? And it's just been such a wild ride. Oh, you didn't do a screenshot? What? Somebody said you did. Wow. And so is it computer art, or is it painting or drawing or mixed media? Do you mind sharing? What style of art is it called? Somebody asked. Do me, please paint me. LOL. Realism. I can, Sifa says. And really wonderful work. Sifa, that's for everything you do and all the heart you bring to the cases. You keep it real and you keep it respectful. Oh my goodness. Dilly Owen says, oh my word, I will trade you a painting. That is awesome. I never let nobody take a picture of me. I don't look good. Yeah, it's hard sometimes to look at yourself in the mirror, right? Yeah, and I try not to worry about my looks. I feel like it's not something that I like to focus on. I have a big gap in my teeth, and when I watch my videos, I always see the gap in my teeth, and I'm like, you know what? That's good, because you're not perfect, you're far from it, and so who cares? And it's not an upper gap. It's this, there it is, that one. Oh, it just drives me crazy because I don't notice it until I see it in photographs or especially in a video, and then it just looks so big and weird. I guess I should turn my face this way and then you won't see it. Anyway, all right, you guys. I did a mix for yours. I did stencil and some oil and then corrected some of it digitally. Nice. That is the coolest. That is so cool that you're so skilled and talented. I'd love to see more of your work. Do you have like a website for your work or something? If you do, please email it to me. I would say drop a link, but I don't think we have a mod in here that can drop a link. If you were, I don't know if you are able to drop the link, Sifa, then I might be able to redrop it, like copy and paste it so that it's something that people could go to. I have to use concealer. That's my one main makeup. LOL, gaps in teeth are cool now. That's right. I forgot Madonna and Letterman made them cool, right? My granddaughters told me. Annie Ruler says, Gary Jenkins on our Fox News about the death of man student in dorm. I think he had pants on. Right. Gary Jenkins, the police chief, about the guy that was found deceased in the dorm. I think he had pants on. I don't know what that why you're saying about that. Annie Ruler, if you want to elaborate, I'll read your next thing. I'm going to highlight that one. Let's see. Never noticed the tooth gap. Dang it. And now I brought it up. It's absolutely invisible when you talk. Annie Ruler, the police chief, had pants on. What? That's funny. He had pants on. The police chief. Well, I hope so. That's so funny. Okay, so in wrapping up about that whole freaking article and the whole thing with the Wazoo Police Department being so problematic and Gary Jenkins, it feels to me like he swooped in, obviously, to try to help, but also to whitewash, to do damage control. And that's what concerns me. So he's the guy that had the contact with the criminal defendant last April. I don't know if there's been news on some of the other YouTube channels today about the internship that the criminal defendant tried to get in the fall with the Pullman Police Department that I think was separate from the assistantship, or is it the same thing that they're following up on? Because the start date for that assistantship was August 22nd. So then him contacting them in the fall about an internship, why are they being so squirrely with the information? That's what's so suspicious. Why aren't they just stating what the results were with his application? That's what raises the red flag, right? Wasn't Jenkins in trouble at other police agency? I haven't heard anything about that. Are you talking about at the Pullman Police Department, or are you talking about before he came to Pullman Police Department? Like maybe that's why he left California or something. Just my thoughts on the gunman. Was it a hazing gone wrong? Caleb Lee, are you talking about the Marine, the military vet, that guy? No, that wouldn't be a hazing gone wrong because that guy was 36 years old. And hazing, you're talking about like fraternity stuff. Sifa says, I haven't slept for a bit. Hazing is becoming more of a taboo because of all the mishaps it causes. Oh, it is so tragic. Yeah, it's insane. The whole thing with Kylie Rodney, people wondered if that was some kind of hazing. And I still wonder if that could be an element of it. I don't know. And yeah, the whole tragedy there in Moscow. And I know some people have thrown that out as a possibility that maybe it was some fraternity related hazing thing, which I think is pretty nuts, but anything's possible. Gotta get your sleep. Dilly Owen says, I didn't really sleep for a few years, but I got the right medication now. Oh my goodness. Yeah. Insomnia is the worst. I know I've suffered from it. And the reports are that this criminal defendant, BK, suffered from insomnia. Brian Laundrie suffered from insomnia. I know when I am short on sleep, I am so grumpy and so moody and so depressed. And then I remember, oh, right, I'm tired. I'm not depressed. I'm tired. But man, the stuff with the Laundrie case that is just so exciting that the Laundries are following up on litigation to get justice for their daughter, to hold the Laundries accountable, to hold Bertolini accountable, to hold the Moab Police Department accountable. This last fall, they sued the Moab Police Department, and they are just doing everything right. That Moab Police Department that mishandled the domestic violence call with Gabby Petito and Brian Laundrie, there's so much there, you guys. I mean, first off, every single officer that was involved in that has been promoted. The lead officer that was there, his last name was Pratt. I forget his first name, but Pratt was the lead guy with the big beard who disclosed all about his ex-girlfriend or his ex-wife, and he was just getting super chatty. Allegedly, he had a domestic violence past of his own and all kinds of crazy stuff. I could share more with you guys if you're not aware of it and would want to touch on all that stuff. But let's wrap up for now. We are past the bewitching hour. I almost sent you my email and a website. Oh, okay. Yeah, it is a gross injustice, Esther. To have guys that are literally screwing around on the job, then making these life and death situation decisions for other people with their badge and their gun. And like this guy, Officer Pratt, he was making life and death decisions for Gabby Petito. He actually says in the whole body cam video, he goes through articulating how important it is to do the right thing in every domestic violence call, that they have to separate them, because so often the woman will turn up deceased, killed by the perp. He actually like goes through that verbatim and says basically like he is looking at a crystal ball and he's predicting what happened 2 weeks later. You know, they saw the scratches on Gabby's face. They didn't get into that. They didn't ask Brian why she had scratches on his face. She did the thing for them where she shows how he like smushed her face. They didn't get into any of that. Please remember to like the live, the mod says. Well, I am just signing off, mod. Thank you so much for coming on and reminding us. And Sifa, oh my, sorry to hear that. Well, might work for then. Yeah, I hope you get your sleep. Oh, melatonin makes my night terrors go crazy. Oh, that's awful. Yeah, that's no fun at all. Valerian root is a really cool essential oil that I love. I should get some more valerian root. It's real sticky. The real high quality oil. It's almost like ginseng kind of, but just a few drops of that, and the smell is amazing. It's real like woodsy. Try some valerian root oil, essential oil, like high quality. A few drops of that should help. Yet he got promoted within the department. Esther, yeah, Pratt got promoted. They all got promoted. Every single one of them. So, all right, you guys, I'm going to sign off. I will see you hopefully on the next live, roughly, let's say like 8:39 in the morning. Not 8:39, but you know what I mean, 8:30 to 9. I'll put it on the schedule for 8:45 and see how that goes. So, yeah, thank you, Maud. I was going to say it, but I couldn't remember the name of it. Valerian is related to Valium. It is. It's the plant that some of the, chemical composition is used in the drug Valium. So, it's a medicinal thing. Good night, dear Jazz. Good night, Esther. Be well, Sifa. Yes, get your valerian root. It is the bomb, and you reminded me how much I like it too. So thank you, Maud. Thank you, everybody, and take care of yourself. Take the rest of the day off. What time is it? It's 12 minutes to 9. Oh, and I haven't been saying the date on my videos because I'm going to just start putting it in the description. So that's my new thing. It's just to put it right there in the description so that it's always there. And so you can tell what videos from what date, because that's so annoying that YouTube doesn't give you the date unless it's your own video. If you go into managing your own videos, it tells you the specific date. But when you're looking at other people's videos, it just says like 3 months ago, 2 years ago, a week ago. When it says a day ago, it's usually like 3 days ago. And when it says 3 days ago, it's usually like 6 days ago. So I don't know what that is, but it's annoying. Like they should just date people's freaking videos, in my humble opinion. Maybe they will. Anyway, that does not make it bad. I don't know if you're talking about the valerian root or I don't know what you're talking about there. Wherever you live, good morning, good afternoon, good evening, good night. That is from the Truman Story. Thanks for everything. Thank you, Sifa. Thank you so kindly. Good idea about the date. And you can run your disclaimer at the bottom of your screen. Oh, yeah, Monique. There's another great idea. I kind of like saying it, but yeah, that's a wonderful idea. So thanks. And you guys, peace out. Get your rest. I hope everybody gets a solid 8 hours of sleep minimum, hopefully, especially Sifa. But every little bit of sleep is helpful, right? Drink your water, eat your protein, fruits and veggies, kind to yourself, kind to others, forgive yourself, forgive others. And what else? That whole thing with respect. I really want to talk to you guys more about that. Maybe tomorrow I'll write that down to start with. About not allowing, look at how weird the shadow is, the shadow ban. Don't allow anybody to treat you with disrespect, and don't hang out with anybody that you don't respect. That is like the worst thing for self-esteem and depression. Like, it is toxic. Do not hang out with anyone you don't respect. Do not allow anyone to be near you that doesn't respect you. Be adamant. Just tell everyone to screw off, right? Just step off. It's really important. We'll talk more about it in the morning. All right. Thanks again, you guys. Peace out. Have a great night. Sending you light, sending you love, and we'll get all these little technical difficulties squared away.